Today we received a call from Tracy PD for assistance on a burglary suspect that they had kind of contained in an area. And unfortunately, one of our canine partners was killed today while trying to apprehend that suspect.
Walk me through that process. I don't know much about when you deployed dogs to help you guys in that way. I mean, walk me through kind of what happened.
Yeah, so today we responded over there. We got there about 10 minutes after they called. And so the dog, you bring your canine partner out of the car. And so we gathered information from the local officers from Tracy on scene. And they indicated that they had seen one of the two suspects run and get into a train car engine that was sitting there. And so we began our search in that area. You let your dog off lead and you give him the search command, and he started hitting on that area. So we went up and were able to get into the cab of the train engine, and he searched that and didn't find anything, but noticed and started alerting on a small door that was inside that cab. We took control of our dog. We make a canine announcement, let them know we're there, we're law enforcement, come out with your hands up. They refused. We gave multiple warnings, and then we went over and tried to open the door, and the door was being barricaded from the inside. We were eventually able to see that there was something tied from the inside there, and they were able to get that unlatched or untied somehow, and there was still something holding the door. So we pushed, and just wide enough so that the canine could go in, and the canine went in and engaged the suspect. At that time, apparently it had been the suspect holding the door, because the door was able to swing open once the canine had engaged. Our canine handler, Deputy Stewart, would continue to give instructions to the suspect to give up and stop fighting, and that's when he heard his dog scream and knew that his dog has been injured. He immediately called his dog off, and he released and came back and laid him down. Deputy Stewart, I believe, transitioned to less lethal, which is taser, and was able to put the suspect down with that. And the other officers entered the room and took him into custody. And as he turned back, he saw his dog profusely bleeding from the chest area and began administering first aid and carried him back to his car and tried to get him to the vet as quick as possible.
It sounds like the canine was critical in the apprehension of the suspect. Is that correct?
Absolutely. You can only imagine the suspect was given a chance to give up, and he decided to lay in wait with a weapon. And had the officer gone in there, it could have been a completely different situation. The officer could have been killed, or the suspect could have been killed. So that's why canines are so critical in law enforcement, because yes, they grab onto people, and I've been bit by the dogs myself, but they're not going to kill somebody as a normal course of business, and it's a much safer way to take people in custody for the officers, for the suspects, and for our community.
What did the suspect use to attack the dog?
You know, the detectives have asked me not to speak about the weapon in general. I can say that it's been leaked out somehow or out and about that the dog was stabbed. What the weapon was, I do not know.
How long was the dog a part of the force?
He's been with us about 6 years. His name is Duke, and he was with a different handler originally, and they were together about 2 years, 2.5 years, and that handler transferred to another department up in the hills. So Duke got taken on by Officer Deputy Stewart in our department, and they've been together almost 3 years now. And Duke was an amazing partner and is responsible for many apprehensions here in San Joaquin County, and just a really fun-loving, friendly dog.
What was his name again?
Duke.
Duke?
Yeah.
And talk to me, how are your other officers doing? Were anybody else injured?
Nobody else was injured, thank God, because Duke went in and kept them safe. And so that's a blessing. And you know, the dogs, we don't like to refer to them this way, but they are a tool for us to stay safe and go home to our families. And it's their job to make sure if something bad's going to happen, that it happens to them so that their partner gets to go home.
And that's that was going to be my next question. Is you kind of feel like the canine with Duke was able to kind of make it so that your officer could go home to his family.
Absolutely. Right? Had there, and I mentioned before, there's an assembly bill that's trying to be passed right now, AB 742, by somebody named Jackson out of Southern California, I believe, and that bill would not allow our dogs to be search off lead. So there would have been a 6-foot lead there. The officer would have had to go in the room. He probably would have been attacked with the weapon himself. So the officer could have been hurt or killed. The suspect could have been hurt or killed because the officer would have drawn his weapon to defend himself. And all that's avoided because a canine is able to be used. Go in, grab the person if they choose not to give up. Remember, this person made a choice to lay in wait for the officer to come into that room instead of just saying, okay, you got me, I'm coming out. So.
Emotionally, how's your officer doing? I know it can be kind of traumatic to lose
Yeah,
a parent.
it's devastating. They become part of our family. He's holding up well. He's very tough. You know, you went to work with your partner and you're driving home without him, and going home to a family that's waiting for the canine to come home. You know, I know when I came home, the kids always went to the dog first and made sure they were okay, and so our loved ones love the dogs as much as we do. Our family here at the sheriff's office love the dogs as much as they do, and it's devastating for the officers on the street, for our dispatch crew that had to listen to that and try and get them help, and everyone that had gone through it. So, but we are blessed that our human officers got to go home safe today.
What is the plan for moving forward? Will there be any sort of procession, any sort of event?
Yes, on Wednesday there'll be a big procession. We don't have all the details, as you can imagine, of that yet, but it'll start here at our office, and it will travel to someplace in Sacramento. I don't have the address yet, but our public information officers will get that out to the public to let them know.
And the suspect, how's he doing, and what charges are you guys planning on bringing against him?
The suspect was taken to the hospital, got cleared there for booking. Tracy PD, we asked them to transport him and just book him on their burglary charges and things like that. He's being interviewed right now. I don't know if he'll give a statement or not, and then he'll be charged with murdering a police dog in the line of duty.